into Vegas?
We're not going to Dubai.
Why not?
Because we're not.
Zach wants a vacation.
I want to go to
Dubai.
Dubai, man.
You can go. It's how the New York Post said you.
So why was that not interesting?
You know, it's a long trip, and we have no interest in that.
So you're locked into Vegas, I guess?
Yeah, I want to see the format if it changes. I was a little disturbed by what happened.
What, not knowing until so late?
Well, all the metrics based on what they said in the format, we prepared for Houston.
Okay.
And we got Auburn. So
Right.
something didn't mesh there.
But are you locked in there for next year? Do you have a contract or you can get out of it?
We have a contract, but they're going to have to explain the format a lot better than what they
So
did.
it's also going to be 32 teams this year, supposedly.
Yeah. I just want to know who we're playing, because we're a big preparation team, and our team played very well against Iowa State, played very well against Baylor, and we're totally not prepared. Now, I will say Auburn wasn't prepared for us either, so it's a two-way street.
Rick, it's been about, I guess, 8 days since you last played. What's been your overall message to this team?
I really like this team a lot. I think they're in the same boat as last year's team. Last year's team at this time was not a great defensive team, was not a great defensive rebounding team. We have to improve in that area, and we've made great strides this week with practice, especially with Ian and Josan. They're learning to do more than just score the basketball. Their passing, their rebounding, their defense has all gotten better from practice, so that's exciting.
Do you kind of see them as the key to this team's ceiling? Because you have two sophomores who we don't know how incredibly talented they are, but they've obviously been inconsistent so far.
I don't think they're inconsistent. I just think their mindset is to score the ball.
Okay.
And at college, you've got to play great defense. You can't be holding the team back defensively. You have to rebound the ball, and you have to pass the ball. And they're making great strides in that area, so I'm really happy. No, I don't think they're the key at all. I think that this basketball team, I think the key is keeping Dylan Darling healthy.
How is he doing?
Well, we lost 2 games without him,
Right.
and he is the only guy that, from an assist-turnover ratio, right now I think Zuby has the best assist-turnover ratio.
Right.
And so you need Dylan Darling in the lineup because of that.
He's okay?
He practiced the next day as soon as we got back.
So what did you make of...
He was injured, but it was a bizarre injury.
It was a hamstring, right?
No, it was more
Calf,
labrum area. I didn't quite understand it when she told me that.
Do you at all, because he didn't look like he could move well.
He couldn't play in that game.
So do you regret putting him back in, or?
The trainer came to me and said he can't play, and then he said he's willing to try it.
Okay.
So I put him in. He wasn't good.
If you could do it over, I mean, you would have probably not put him on Pettiford.
It wasn't effective. He couldn't go.
Right.
He couldn't go.
Is he good to go?
He's good to go. He's
Saturday?
been 100% all week.
Okay, yeah. Rick, when he's been able to play against Iowa State and Baylor, you guys have been much better with him on the court, but he's gotten in foul trouble in both those games. How do you kind of avoid that, and kind of, is he compensating for?
Well, we've
the
been
lack of
working on
size?
that, and also Ozaya as well. They have a bad habit of, when they defend the pick and roll, putting 2 hands on the offensive player, and we're trying to break that habit of that, because he needs to be substituted by fatigue, not foul trouble.
What was it, I guess, that kind of made you make that switch in the first place, putting Dylan in the starting lineup and having Ian come off the bench?
Just all the players on our team are really talented, but their motives are not to make other people better.
Mm-hmm.
When he steps on the court, he's trying to make everybody better, and that's something we need. Now Zuby he's second on the team at that. Ozaya, all the guys that are starting, Bryce, they're focused on scoring. They're not focused on making players better.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, what have you noticed, about Zuby late in games when you look at Alabama, Auburn, and Iowa State, where he played really well early, and then like the last 5-10 minutes didn't make the same impact, whether it's scoring or doing other things?
I think that the teams are saying in the timeouts, look, we can't let this guy beat us.
Okay.
Go after him hard, keep him off the glass, have the 2 guys block him out, and that's what I would do in a timeout. If I was playing against him, I would do everything possible to stop him from getting the ball.
Do you think he's wearing down at all?
No, I think he's as fresh as I've ever seen him. He dominates practice right now.
Because mean, Iowa State, he got beat for a few like you mentioned,
He's not he hasn't been a good defensive rebound last year as well.
Right.
He does a great job on the offensive glass. A good defensive rebounder, like Charles Oakley, who I coached, creates defensive space. He creates space. Zuby doesn't create space, and that's why he's not. Now he does on the offensive glass. He makes moves to get the basketball.
Do you want? I mean, is that something he needs to do?
We're working on it. We tell him all the time now. He knows it. There's no easier guy to coach in basketball than Zuby. Whatever you tell him, I'll get it done.
Rick, in terms of, I guess, level of concern, you talked about the defense and the rebounding. Where is the rebounding in terms of kind of the biggest need on something to clean up?
Well, it's lost us a couple of games, so we've really emphasized it. They know it. This is a very easy team to coach. They are so. The reason I think we're going to be a very good basketball team is they want it as much as the coaching staff. So they know it's a weakness. They know talking defensively is a weakness, and they're willing to make the corrections. We had a great week of practice. But now we're going into a team where the coach is a good friend of mine, is really pissed off at his team. And,
So you're not pissed off at yours?
No, not at all. Look, you can get very upset when losing, and I certainly was last year in the Bahamas. But I wasn't a bit upset at this team leaving Las Vegas because they played two really good games. And the last game, I don't think was entirely their fault. They were not prepared. We are a big preparation team. When we don't have time to prepare, we don't look good defensively.
Rick, you mentioned like you're going to lose games because you're I mean, I think you're 17th, ranked 17th in non-conference SOS. Where are you? Has your opinion of what this team could be changed at all? Being one in,
I think they're like last year's team. I think they have weaknesses like last year's team, but I think they will develop into a very strong team capable of winning the Big East again. Now, Connecticut is in a class by themselves as far as this league's concerned. They look like they're in February form. They're much better defensively this year than they were last year, and they look great. Their continuity is there. They've had injuries, and it hasn't bothered them at all. The rest of us are trying to fight, and Seton Hall is playing great basketball right now.
Butler is pretty good.
Butler's playing really well. Villanova's improved in a lot of areas. So we're going to get the thing with us is we have a very high ceiling, and we're nowhere near the ceiling yet.
Do you have to remind guys? I mean, Zuby obviously experienced it in AO and some other guys, but do you have to remind the new guys like not to get down because like it is a long year and like last year's team went through the same exact thing on a trip?
Yeah, I told them. I said, look, I showed them clips of last year's team defensively in the Big East, and I said in the Bahamas they were like you. The Garden was going crazy with our defense in the Big East tournament, and I said, you're at the same spot as them because you're new to each other. You know, we also have a lot of foreign players, and you know, you have Portugal, Greece, you have Sweden, you have Africa. You know, you've got a lot of foreign players that defense is not a premium, right? And just has to come together.
What are you seeing right now from Ole Miss? Obviously, they're going through it a bit.
They're like us. They're talented, not playing their best basketball, but they're a very talented basketball team.
How about AJ Storr? Obviously, has some history at St. John's before you got here. Just what do you have to do about him?
Well, he's a great scorer, and you know he's a great one-on-one basketball player, and we've got to pay attention to a lot of their players.
Mm-hmm.
Rick, do you plan on sticking with the same five to start?
Who was that?
Darling, Sellers, and then the three forwards?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Josan was starting, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then I guess Dylan.
Josan will not start in this game.
No? Who will start?
I don't know yet, but he will not start.
Any reason for that? Or?
No, he's playing terrific. He's improving. I just don't want to give the other team a start lineup.
What do you want to see on Saturday? Is there like one thing you go in and say, I want to see?
I want to see better defense and better defensive rebounding. Offensively, we're a pretty good team.
You look like you couldn't move, really.
No, I mean I couldn't move. It was just kind of tough because like when I sat down, I would get kind of comfortable, like it wouldn't hurt, and then you know you go out there and start running around, sprinting, sitting in a defensive stance, and I couldn't go. So.
But it was just like a freak thing. Like you're good now.
I'm feeling better. So
I'll be good. All week?
Yeah. I'll be good for Saturday.
Dylan, after the loss, I heard Zuby kind of voiced his concern with the team. What did he say?
I just think there's disappointment in the locker room for sure. We down the stretch, we just need to do things. We're still learning on how to win, and there's things that we're not doing in order to win, which is closing out possessions, taking care of the ball, just defending for a full 30 seconds, and that's things that we need to win and learn how to do.
How much pride are you taking in just being the point guard in this team, being in the starting lineup after starting the year in the reserve role?
Yeah, I mean a lot. I'm off to a little bit of a slower start than I would have liked, but I don't feel like I'm playing horrible basketball. I just feel like, one, I've either been hurt or I've been in foul trouble. I felt like I was in foul trouble in Vegas the whole time. And I haven't been able to shoot the ball great to start the season, but that's just something that I'm confident will flip because, every day in practice I feel like I'm getting better and more confident. So, as time goes on, I feel like I'll be fine.
Is this the role you kind of envisioned when you transferred here?
When I transferred here, whatever Coach P needed me to do in order to win and stay on the floor, I would do. So, and it just turns out that he wants me to start a role now, and something I gotta
Take one more and then we'll switch.
Dylan, Coach had brought up, it's not a coincidence that, you didn't play in Alabama. You got fouled out in Iowa State, and then Auburn, you were hurt.
Yes.
Kind of that you changed things for this team. Do you feel that way, that you could have made a difference down the stretch in those games if you were healthy or not fouled out?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'll always think like that I'm more of a positive than a negative. And like I said, it's just been kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Uncharacteristic. I don't know. It's just been unfortunate kind of a start, but looking to turn it around on Saturday.
Zuby, I heard you had a pretty blunt message to your teammates after the Auburn game. Can you share with us that?
I'm not gonna say exactly what was said. I can't even remember exactly what was said, but it's a tough game, it's a tough situation. We don't want to just talk about last year's team compared to this year's team. It's two different teams. So I was just trying to relay my thoughts and just the message to the rest of the guys that it's gonna be a long year. Especially if we don't pick it up defensively. So that's where it's going to have to start.
Did you say that you weren't sure if the guys wanted it enough?
No. Obviously, they all came here for a reason. They all came here to win. And it's one thing to try hard, but especially at the end of the game, especially if our shots is not falling, that can't really deter us on the defensive end.
Zuby, what is the biggest thing that has to change or improve defensively?
Just communication, and trust. That's the two biggest things: communication and trust. You gotta trust that if you're beat off the bounce, that your teammates are gonna be there for you. And communication is obviously a huge part, and that's something that I think we're lacking at the moment.
Is that something that's not there because these are new guys and you're still getting used to playing for each other?
Yeah, it's just new guys. Obviously, it takes time, but. It's something that you just gotta start building at this moment. We got a tough schedule this year, so we don't have too much of a time to waste, honestly. So we got a talented team. Ole Miss coming up here on Saturday, so we don't have too much time to waste, especially getting it done on defense.
Rick had said it feels like this team is kind of in the same spot you guys were in a year ago. People kind of forget you had a tough trip to the Bahamas, and the team wasn't what it was by March defensively. That it was still trying to find itself. Do you agree with that?
You can see some similarities. Obviously the Bahamas tournament didn't go exactly how we wanted it to go, and the Vegas, you could say the same thing for the Vegas tournament as well. And Coach Pitino, he said that last year's team that we just made up our mind after the tournament that. Defense is where it's going to have to start at, in order to start getting some victories. And I feel like after that tournament, we turned it around. And, now we have another opportunity this year. and you know, you can't really think about the past, but all you could do is control what you do here in the now and what you do in the future. So, you know, if we're looking forward to having a successful season, we're going to have to make some changes.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that this week in practice? Talking about making changes.
Yeah, you know, I feel like the guys have picked it up, especially with their enthusiasm, you know, on the defensive end, and especially when we're getting stops and having pride in getting stops. We're a pretty great, you know, transition team. You know, Coach said all the time that 1 through 5 could, you know, just push the ball and, you know, just get out in transition, and we have, you know, just great shooters all around as well. So as long as, you know, we're just focused on getting stops in each possession, we'll be fine.
What does Dylan Darling bring when he's on the court, or when he's available that others maybe don't on this team?
Just a gritty guard. You know, he gets it done on both sides of the ball, but you know, he's able to, you know, as the point guard, he's able to just kind of like settle us down and you know, create for himself, create for others as well. And I think he's his natural you know, position, so he does a really great job doing that.
Zuby, your second halves haven't been as good as your first half, especially against the good teams. Are you wearing down? Do you feel like you need to do more late in games? Like, what, from your vantage point, like, what do you think is happening to you late in games?
I have no idea. I wouldn't say I'm wearing down. I feel like, you know, if I have a great half, or not just me but anybody, the coaching staff on the opposing team is gonna have to, you know, make some changes around that. So that maybe is it. I'm not gonna make any excuse, but I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Do you feel like you need to do more late in games?
Yes. You know, especially in a closeout situation where, you know, you have to win a game. You know, you're putting yourself in a good position. You know, in the first half, we would have a pretty solid half, but you know, especially when it comes down to game time and being you know, an essential piece and you know, just ending the game and coming out with a victory, I feel like I have to do a better job of doing that.
Okay.
Thank you, Zuby. Thanks,
All right, thanks, Zuby.